Coming up on today's Locked On Nuggets, the resume says the Nuggets are an elite squad. How much are we buying that? Should we overreact to Jamal Murray's recent struggles? And what's it going to take for Christian Braun to be the shooter that Denver needs? All that coming up on Locked On Nuggets.
You are Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for joining us and making us part of your day, being an everydayer, making us your first listen, and being part of our community. We do appreciate you guys joining us on podcasts where you can give us great reviews if you'd like, or at youtube.com/LockedOnNuggets where you can join the show. We'll react to your feedback. But all we ask is that you give us a like and subscribe. My name is Matt Moore. I've been covering the Nuggets as a credential reporter for 14 seasons. I write for the Action Network, the Denver Dig, Fansided, and a whole lot more. Joined by Swipa. You can catch him on Twitter and on his YouTube channel at SwipaCam. He's over on the Player's Choice as well. He's got shows all over the internet covering both football and basketball. So you can get his reaction tonight to what should be a pretty easy victory by your Denver Broncos. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. Swipa, how you doing on Thursday?
I'm great. I have had a very productive day. I'm just making it through 2025 like a lot of people, man. Just one day at a time, one grind at a time.
Yeah, amen to that. So, especially on weeks where I have 3 home games, and then my daughter has a doubleheader on Saturday.
Oh,
so it's gonna be a
what season? Volleyball,
basketball. So been working on the handles. She's got great vision. Got to work on the handles.
But do you train her?
I have coached her, but I have not trained her. I would
like you have said like cone drills and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we've done that.
Okay, is she left-handed, right-handed?
Right.
Who's her play style? Like who does she remind you of? Cynthia Cooper,
Jose Alvarado.
I like that. Okay,
that's a good comp. I need to get her if I can get her. Actually, her shot mechanics are coming along. All right, on today's show, we'll talk about Christian Braun and his shooting touch. We'll talk about Jamal and his struggles, plus Jokic coming on stronger. We will talk about the Nuggets resume. A little bit of housekeeping. The Nuggets today did agree to revised contract terms with Yonas Valančiūnas, extending his guaranteed date along with $2 million more into July. So what this means is that they can trade Yonas as an expiring contract during free agency. So if they want to make a move, and presumably if he were to want to head overseas, as he was rumored to want to this summer, then they could use that, like send him to a team, the team waives him, he leaves, they clear the cap space. Yonas makes a little extra money about this. This is great for him, right? He gets more guaranteed money here on the deal, and that means that he's an expiring contract for them. It's a good move, honestly, for both sides, Cam.
Yeah, I think if Yonas, obviously, let's just do the maximum. It goes so well, the Nuggets are like, of course we're bringing you back. Like, it's, it's impossible to let you go. We had the best center rotation in the league. You won us a title. We went 16-3 on a run because they couldn't handle our size. We were pounding them, and they couldn't resist it. So some of this is when you're in this situation, I think that, like, this is a good option to have because if you have Yonas, you can utilize them and keep them. But also, too, if you do need expiring money, then it also adds to add that to the roster. That way you can make additional moves as well. So it just gives you flexibility, gives you options. I think it works out for both sides.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about the Nuggets resume here. So Denver stands 5-2, 2 annoying losses, 1 in overtime to the Warriors on opening night in their home opener. They look to avenge that on Friday, and the other one to the Blazers in a ridiculous sequence that like everyone's like, I think this Blazers team, and I'm like, no, they're frauds. Like, I do not believe in the Blazers team.
Oh, wow. I didn't know you were that strong.
Like, they won that game. They lost to the Lakers without Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They only beat the Nuggets because of an absolutely just despicable series of officiating decisions that I am still angry at.
Which is not a normal for you.
Right. This is the thing is Blazers fans are like Homer, and I'm like, go ask around. Like, Go ask Nuggets folks how often I back them on these things. It was ridiculous. They beat OKC last night, resting this is not real. Denver, on the other hand, is very real. Number 1 schedule adjusted offense. They are number 3 in schedule adjusted overall net rating. So I'll ask you, are they as good
Dunks
as
and threes?
Yeah. Are they as good as the numbers say they are?
You know what's funny is I've thought about this quite a bit since everything's kind of happened. The Nuggets defense, schedule adjusted, by the way, is 8th.
Yep.
Nuggets defense, schedule adjusted, well, not schedule adjusted on NBA.com, is tied for 3rd, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I'm like, I've been tracking this for a while. I'm sure you can see my tweets.
Yep.
You know, the Nuggets have played 7 games this year.
Mm-hmm.
They've been up 12 or more in 7 games this year? It just feels like they're just kind of choo-choo. They're just like steadily just moving on. They have these moments, Matt, where they'll go on these like wild runs where they'll go to 15, 18 points, and then they'll just kind of, relax, revert, and then all of a sudden it's a 6-8 point game again, 5 point game again. But then they just decide to put the hammer down again and they go right back to that place. I think for me it's real, but this is like easy mode right now because they're just.
So it's funny you mentioned that.
Yeah.
I don't know how to ask them about this because if you say like, hey man, this looks easy as heck. The response is like, nothing is easy in the NBA. This is really hard. Do you understand how hard this is? All these teams are like, it's really offensive to say that to them because of how much work goes into this.
Right.
On the other hand, like it is just clockwork. Like it is just clockwork. Now they got to get some wins on the road, right? Like that's the big one here is like they got to go on the road and get some better wins. They got the 1 win versus the Wolves on the road without Ant. Got to get some quality wins on the road. Like they haven't played their schedule. Schedule adjusted is going to be based off of factors that aren't getting isn't going to account for enough context. Oh, they beat the Wolves without Anthony Edwards. Oh, they beat the Heat. Bam Adebayo left in the first quarter. And at the end of a West Coast road trip in altitude. Oh, they beat the all of these factors are not going to really reflect them. So I understand. I think you can make an argument like the Nuggets aren't as good as their resume says. And I think Denver would agree with you. What's funny is we keep gassing them up in these post-game sessions, and you can tell that they're just like, I mean, it's a good start. That's it. Like, it's fine. Because they just see so much more potential, and they see how long this curve is. But, Cam, their offense, again, is a juggernaut. And they can't shoot from 3 right now. They're shooting 30% from 3.
Mm-hmm.
Cam can't find the bucket. Cannot hit water if he fell out of a boat. Yonas has missed a lot of easy looks. They've left layups. Their transition turnover rate isn't good. And those things won't all improve as the offense stays at the same level. But there's probably another step here for them to take. Defensively is where I am concerned. That's where I do think the numbers are lying a little bit. So 89.8 defensive rating versus the Pelicans. ... The Pelicans. A 106. Do what?
The Clippers game and Pelicans. They were scoring pretty well in that game.
Yeah, I think the Clippers are a mess. 106 versus Phoenix. Phoenix without a lot of guys. They've been tough because of their defense, but I don't think their offense is great.
Yeah.
The 116 versus the Kings, I actually don't mind because I'm just gonna I don't know. They just kind of traded buckets with them because they knew they could get away with it. The 110 versus Portland can't score.
Yeah, the Heat was good though.
So
the Heat offense been cooking. Yeah.
Friday's the test because they gave up the 128 on the road in the road opener versus the Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
So if they bounce back and they can defend on Friday, that will be a lot more telling to me. Ryan pointed this out, and I do think it's important to note. Denver right now is giving up the 21st most threes via dunks and threes.
Mm-hmm.
And they are number 1 in 3-point percentage defense. Mm-hmm. Every analytics wonk will tell you that that's luck. So,
well, to be fair, they were number 3 in 23-24, and then number 5 in rim protection, I think, too, that year. So, some of that scheme too, like where you're allowing your threes and what kind of threes you're allowing. But how much do you think the zone has aided some of these numbers for them? Because they played heavy zone on 3 of the 4 games, 3 games in particular in the last 4.
I need to dive into it and see if it's working. I hate the zone, and I'm like the only person that doesn't like it. Everybody, like, it's just I'm wrong. Like, I just have a bias against this because I hate the types of shots that they give up. But it's obviously working, right? To your point, there's it is just working from that perspective. The other thing I have a hard time with is it's hard to get good numbers on it. I don't love Synergy's numbers on the zone. I don't feel like they oftentimes catch everything. If you're in a matchup zone, halftime it goes in man-to-man, halftime it goes into zone. So trying to get an actual second spectrum, if you have access to it, is much better. I don't. I've had it in the past, and that's way better. But that to me is more of what I would kind of look for. In as far as zone goes, the Nuggets are ranked 12th in possessions per game in zone. They are 3rd, though, in percentage of time. And they're giving up a 105 defensive rating, which is actually 28th in the league. So, it's not good. It's just better than their man defense, I think is kind of how to put it.
Yeah, I'm curious. We'll talk about a little bit of that on the other side. I have some questions about that.
All right, let's keep talking about it. We'll hit that coming up on Locked On Nuggets. Today's show is brought to you by Gusto. Let's be real. No one starts a business for the joy of calculating tax withholdings or managing payroll spreadsheets. That's where Gusto comes in, to take the stress out of payroll, benefits, and HR so you can focus on running your business and supporting your team. Gusto is an all-in-one, remote-friendly payroll and HR platform that makes managing your team simple, transparent, and fast. Whether you're hiring, onboarding, or paying employees, Gusto helps you do it all from one place without the hassle or hidden fees. Unlimited payroll runs for one monthly price, which means no surprise charges at the end of the month. And knowing you can reach certified HR experts anytime gives you real peace of mind. Try Gusto today at gusto.com/LockedOnNBA and get 3 months free when you run your first payroll. That's right, 3 months of free payroll at gusto.com/LockedOnNBA. One more time, that's gusto.com/LockedOnNBA. We're also brought to you today by Doer, local company Doer. I've heard the most amazing things about these jeans. I cannot wait to wear them. This is a great time of year. If you wear jeans, fall is an excellent one. Get the jeans, get a hoodie, get a flannel. I'm doing the dad look. Jeans, t-shirt, and flannel last night to the game. Doer jeans have 5 times the stretch of traditional denim. They're antibacterial, meaning your jeans stay fresh longer so you can wear more and wash less. And they're made with Cool Max that regulates your body temperature and wicks moisture. That's going to keep you cool and comfortable as the temperatures change. That's important because the media room is burning hot and the arena, we're right under a vent, so it's freezing. So I need both. And that's why I'm excited about Doer. Doer jeans feel stretchy without looking stretchy. They combine classic jeans wear with the kind of comfort and performance you get from athletic wear. It's the best of both worlds. They're pioneers of blending technical innovation with everyday clothing. They invented the original performance denim. Simply put, Doer makes the world's most comfortable pants without having to sacrifice style. Trust me, once you try these, they're going to be your go-to. And you can check out Doer in store right here in Denver. They're at 2621 Larimer Street. Pick up a pair for yourself or as an amazing holiday gift. Mention our promo code LOCKEDONDenver in store to get 15% off your first order. Or check them out online at shopDuer.com. That's shopDuer.com/LockedOnDenver for 15% off. shopDuer.com/LockedOnDenver. We'll be right back on Locked On Nuggets.
In those jeans, looking good, looking right. All I want to know is, can I have what's in those jeans?
Oh my
yeah. Come on, Genuine.
All my jeans references are all country songs. I want to bust that out on Locked On Nuggets. All right. So you were asking about the zone stuff. Where do you want to go? Where do you want to go here?
Look, I just think they're experimenting because they're going to have to break it out at some point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they are.
And I think the first 30 games will be like that.
They are trying. They're doing. Look, everyone knows I was a Mo guy, and I think that there is always this temptation for, if you're here's an example. There's a guy I know in Portland who loved Anthony Simons. Like, thought he was like a superstar. And didn't like the people wanted to anoint Scoot or Shaden or these other guys. So now when they've traded Simons, he's like going extra hard on the other guys. Like, I'm not going to do that because Adelman is one, it's just you shouldn't do that. Two, Adelman's been phenomenal. Like, he's been terrific. He's been everything that you want. He's holding Jokic's minutes down, buying him more time whenever he can. He's trying different rotations to see what works and what doesn't.
23% usage for Jokic, by the way.
Yeah. He's using Jokic in different situations to get different opportunities for him. He's trying out different combos with the bench. He's trying to work in Julian. He's trying to expand the rotation instead of shorten it. Like, all of it has been tremendous. Challenges haven't been great. Everything else, I think, has been really good. And Adelman's not going to be great at the in-game stuff every single game. Like, it's just not – every coach has good games and bad games, even the great ones. He's been absolutely terrific. So they are experimenting a lot right now. A lot of this for me is just like, do I believe that the Nuggets can cover enough space to get the kind of contests on zone busting threes that they need? Like last night, I think this is a good example where it's like, yeah, the Nuggets probably were able to play zone more. Do you know why? Because Bam Adebayo got hurt in the first quarter. And if you're looking for a big that can flash middle to bust it, Bam is like the best option. But
that's like the best shot to give up in zone though. Like, because if you're taking a 10 to 15 foot midi, then
but it's not about that. The shot though, it's about the pass. It's about he threatens middle. They have to step up, and then they're able to find the back door.
And they you flash backside on that. I mean, for sure. But at some point, to your point, it becomes like a matchup zone, and so Jokic obviously playing the high post within. That means they will have to stop moving around him. So hopefully they wouldn't do that. But yeah, I mean, for me, it's just a matter of Matt. I don't. We'll get we should probably talk about Jokic here in a little bit because we haven't. But
we got to.
Yeah, Christian Braun is. I'm not super impressed with his defense yet, but I feel the same way last year as I did right now. I wasn't impressed early. I was very impressed late. And that's probably where it goes.
One thing that's also kind of notable, I think, is the Nuggets' real weakness defensively. And I noticed this coming into last night's game, which is again why I was kind of bummed that Bam got hurt, so we couldn't have seen like a little bit better of a test. Denver has the fourth worst points per possession mark defensively versus pick and roll scores, which makes sense, right? We've been talking about the guards coming off these screens and being able to score. It's not necessarily the kickouts; those are okay so far. Cam's closeouts, by the way, little thing. Cam, this is like a tiny thing where it's like you're still giving up those shots, but Cam's closeouts are way better than MPJ's. I wrote Cam Johnson stock down in an article for Fanside today. Like, I did the criticism of Cam. He's got to make shots. I get it. But I am just telling you, like, Cam's closeouts are so much, like, he's so, the seconds that he's ahead of where MPJ was on these rotations is really meaningful. So Yoke started off not scoring and passing. And the last couple of games, it has been favorable matchups and opportunities. And he has just absolutely trucked teams. Like, last night was such a phenomenal, like, he was so good last night. I was thankful to Ryan for doing the post-game show, but part of me wanted to be on just to like rave about how good Nikola. I've been working really hard on the pronunciation because we all just say
Nikola.
No, because I asked Andrew last night from Serbia, or Alexander rather. I'm sorry, Alexander, how to pronounce it, and it's not Nikola. It's not that. There's like a different pronunciation. I'm still trying to figure it out. And if you're like, it's been 10 years. Yeah, I know. That's why I'm upset. That like we haven't figured out how to pronounce his name yet. Anyway, I guess here's my question for you. I don't expect him to keep up the scoring pace. I think it's going to be like one night he has 20 assists. The next night he has 35 points. The next night he has 24, 12, and 12. The next, like, I think he will fluctuate wildly in those three categories while still maintaining a triple-double and averaging around 24 points.
Yeah, I don't think his scoring is going to be there this year, but I also don't think it has to be. Like, do you know he has a 50% assist percentage right now?
It's not.
Yeah, well, for what? Like, well, I just don't think the Nuggets are at this point now where Jokic shouldn't have to do any one thing all the time. And I think that's kind of the place you want to be. And I think that would be the goal of the Nuggets this season is Adelman is purposely taking Jokic out of the low post, put him at the high post. And as you saw yesterday, even when Bam was in the game, it's like, okay, duck ins Aaron Gordon. Like, I think some of this is just about You don't need Jokic to, and Jokic shouldn't have to be a primary scorer all the time. I think that the goal should be that by the end of the year, there are so many options around him that when he does decide to go berserk mode as a scorer, it's like, oh, wow, now we can't do anything about it because we can't send too much help. Otherwise, you're going to get cooked and you're going to get burned. So for me, I personally think that the assist number is going to be the thing that probably just stays pretty high this year.
Yeah, like I think he's, I'll have to look up what the highest average in NBA history is, but I wouldn't be surprised if he challenges that. Like
11? You think 11 plus?
Yes. Like I think he can average 12 plus assists per game. That's how good he is. Last night,
he had like 5 or 6 of them that should have been added to that.
Well, and I don't blame him because some of it's like he throws these things where I can't blame Christian for missing these because it's like, how could he possibly have expected this pass?
A rolling left-handed behind the back between two people.
Between the trailing defender. That was the one that like broke my brain. The bounce pass was awesome. Where he had another one that it wasn't an assist opportunity. Do you remember when Bruce gave it back to him? He does that shot fake where it looks like he's leaning forward to draw a foul and everybody's like, what are you doing? And then sidewinders it right on target to Bruce, who immediately drives, gives it back to him for a floater. It's just like, oh my God.
But even the one where he brought down to his hip, and he talked about it, but like for him, I guess it was just whatever, but he literally brought it down to his left hip, tossed the oop to Aaron Gordon, but it was like,
I said last night, that was the best big-to-big pass I've ever seen. From my angle on it, I do not know if there's a better one. I do not think there's ever been a better big-to-big pass.
Was that on the basket over here or down there where you are?
It was on the one where we were.
Okay. So he was facing you when that happened. Okay.
I was like, what the velocity on it, the placement. He was so good. He was so good, man. All right. So Jamal couldn't shoot in the game on Monday. I'm sure Ryan last night said, like, I said he was not playing well. He played great on Monday. This game, I honestly think is like, I think his shot is bothered by the calf. We started noticing it I'm trying to think of which game it was, who they were playing. I noticed that he wasn't able to get as much lift on his one-legged sidewinder shots. And I noticed that in one of the games and was like, oh, that's notable.
Pelicans?
Maybe the Pelicans game. Yeah, it was Pelicans. It was Wednesday. And I was like, oh, like he was hitting those early and now he doesn't have quite as much lift on those. But he still was racking up assists, still played really well. Still played well in the Kings game. Had a lot of assists, just couldn't find a shot. Last night, he genuinely struggled. Like the physicality of what the Heat are a great defensive team. And they were like, we're going to play physical. We're going to pressure. And we're going to pressure you into multiple coverages and try and force turnovers to try and keep the ball away from Jokic. And he really struggled. But part of me is like, I don't look at this as like he's getting worse. I look at this
breaking
like,
open threes too. Like, for me, that's just a part of like,
it's part of what
he hasn't hit his threes at all really this year outside of a couple games.
Yeah,
and I think for me, I just think he's getting into the season, and it's not about getting in shape because I think that we can drop that at this point. But I think shooting goes and it comes, and like right now he's in a little bit of a slump. But to me, this just doesn't feel different than the last few seasons. First 10 to 15 games, Jamal just isn't hitting his shots. He just started doing it in October, and then it kind of went away. But I just feel the same thing I always do. By the time we get to December, Matt, I just think he's going to be like a nightmare.
So 2 things here. So Jack Jones says his calf, time to accept he's just an inconsistent player. This is just who he is. Don't do this. Like guys get to have injuries. You can't criticize Jamal for not being in shape this year. He came into camp in excellent shape. Guys get hurt. That happens. It is okay for guys to have injuries. And it's like, what about Nikola? Yes, Nikola's a tank. I don't know what to tell you. Like, you are literally blessed with the least injury-prone player in NBA history.
Even Yonas is nicked up right now.
Yeah, Yonas is always not nicked up. He's got knee issues. Look at the way he plays. It is normal for guys to have injuries. And Chris says, if he's hurt, he shouldn't be playing, man. Okay, I hear you, and I think that they need to make sure that they rest him. But some of this does get into the idea of if Jamal's like, yeah, no, it hurts. But if the training staff is like, you're not at risk, you got to be careful because this, I will say this, training staffs, I think, are a little bit too loose with calves. And we saw that with KD and then we saw it with Halliburton. Like, you got to be careful on the Achilles. Like, that's the one thing that where it's like, look, but it might be high calf. If it's not lower calf, I don't care. Like, his odds of compensating for that with an Achilles are low. And guys have to play through some pain. But there's a middle ground here of guys can play through some pain but they're not going to be as good because they're a little nicked up. That's okay over the course of a season. That's all right.
Yeah, I'm just not like, it's not a thing for me. Like people are, even yesterday on my show, were mad that I wasn't like being overly critical of Jamal. For me, I'm just kind of like, whatever. Like it is what it is.
They're killing teams. Like when he's the reason they lose a game, we can talk about it. But he's going to have to play badly in order for that to be the thing, not just shoot badly. Because Jamal's still racking up assists. He's still grabbing rebounds. Jamal's playing hard, man. I think he's been great this season. Coming up, though, we'll talk about Christian Braun's struggles because the shooting thing is getting to be a little bit more obvious. We'll talk about that coming up on Locked On Nuggets. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Good way to do it. Wait for Jokic to settle in, and then you can bet the over on his points, especially like last night. After Bam unfortunately went out and he got to go against Khalil Ware, I was like, oh no, Khalil's about to have a bad time. And guess what? He did. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at bigger payout. Jokic also scores on Bam, by the way. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. And hey, get it on the Broncos tonight. Spreads up to 9. It's going towards 9.5. I got Broncos -8. So we'll see. But that Raiders team is cheeks. So a lot of confidence in the Broncos to get the cover tonight. And Bo Nix to have another great game, Cam. Right now, new FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. We'll be right back on Locked On Nuggets. Back here on Locked On Nuggets, final segment here with you on a Thursday swipe and gripe. Glad to have you guys with us. Okay. So Christian Braun, it is getting a little bit more frustrating for Nuggets fans that he's not shooting well. We talked about Cam on the Tuesday show. No, it's not? You're not frustrated?
I think Nuggets fans are kind of giving him the Bo Nix treatment right now, honestly, where look at all the things he's doing well.
What's the common denominator?
I mean, apparently, I'm not gonna lie to you. I said something about it, and then somebody was like, "Was this your Riley Moss?" I'm like, "No, like that's not connected at all." I think he's playing really well, but I told you, Matt, he's a demon in transition. He's an amazing off cuts. Matt, if you look at his numbers this year, I'm sure you've seen some of these in transition. Like he's been average, not been great this year. Like he's not having like a phenomenal year like he did in the pack. He's not finishing the same rate. But off cuts, Matt, he's averaging 1.54 points per possession off cuts this year. Like, yeah, he's great at that. I think for me, it's just like the thing that they really need though is like spot up shooting, and he's been poor this year. He's averaging 0.54 points per possession as a spot up shooter. It's like what they kind of need is like this addition of Christian Braun where he's a ball handler but a shooting threat, and you can't like collapse your defense. Because even if you watch the Portland game, they're cheating up off the two-man game off of Christian Braun or Aaron Gordon, but really Christian Braun to try to compensate for pre-rotating the Jokic. And I'm saying to avoid that, that's why Tim Hardaway Jr. closed versus the Wolves, because you can't pre-rotate off of Tim Hardaway Jr.
Yep.
That's impossible.
Yep.
So I think for me, Christian just has to get to a point where he's a legitimate outside threat. Cause my mind's already locked in for OKC, Clippers, and whoever they face in the first round next year, and then the NBA championship. They're going to get coverages where they're going to go underneath those screens, or they're going to pre-rotate off of Christian. I'm saying the only way you truly make them pay, I'm talking about truly make this offense to the point where it's uncontainable, is if CB is able to be like a good enough shooter to make them punish, or just to make them dissuade them from doing that at all.
Would you trade some of his transition ability and physicality for more shooting? You would trade that?
100%. More side to side movement on defense too, personally.
The problem now is like what we'll run into, I think, with the fan base is it's going to be like, well, what about Cam? It's going to be what aboutism? And it's like, yeah, Cam needs to shoot better too.
Mm-hmm.
Like either one of them, and this offense probably is above 120 for an offensive rating right now.
Yeah.
And that's like, that would be awesome. And there may be a time in the season when they get both of them, and then may come too early and they may dip in the playoffs. You're absolutely right though, because they ran that empty side post up for Yoke when they fronted him. And it's like, look, man, the tough part about that is you got to space exactly right, because if you bunch up, then two defenders get to guard three guys. So you got to rotate one a little bit higher. Like Jamal's got to be on that right wing, but Jamal can't do that because you can't have the sideline be a second defender to you. That's tough. So Jamal's got to be faster, more aggressive to beat those things.
Mm-hmm.
I've said this, like, don't wait for Jokic to beat that front. Don't do it. Like, don't wait for it. Just swing to the weak side and take the open three. That punishes them for it.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to be able to knock it down. You got to be able to hit that. Whether it's Cam or Christian, they got to be able to hit that. I am running into this problem, though, Cam, where it's like, how do I criticize this offense right now, man? Like, they're number one in the league. Like,
it's not about results. It's never been about results.
I hear you. My only thing with the matchup stuff that you're talking about in April is like, that's such a long way away.
Sure.
You got to deal with like what that is then, because it may look entirely different than for different reasons.
Well, it showed up in the Golden State game too, though, to be fair. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's just when you play versus teams that are this good, like they're gonna play the odds and the probability. And the odds and probability say, do not let Jokic and Murray run pick and roll.
Right.
By any means necessary. Like, send 3, 4, 2, leave open.
OKC loves that, by the way. Like, they go over the screen, hedge, and then bring a third defender on the slip. And they're just like, if you want anybody, and like, I love that strategy, honestly. It's one of the reasons why I actually like the Nuggets core defensive coverage with Jokic high. I'm always of the believer of these teams always want the best players to take the shots. Take that away from them. Be like, anybody else can beat us.
Well, that was like the Houston Rockets game when Shea was on a one-man mission and they wouldn't double him. That didn't make sense to me. I'm just not a prideful coach, man. I'm calling double. Like, you're not, I don't care who it is. You're beating my scheme. I'm not letting you do it.
Yep. So, and look, I mean, Christian's got to be able to make those shots. I do.
Tim Hardaway Jr. is going to close a lot of games this year. I'm saying that, like, I'm not saying it's a bad thing either, but I'm saying if things continue this way, which I don't believe they will, because Christian has only proven to get better.
Yep.
I do think there's a route where Tim Hardaway Jr. is closing more games than we realized.
I think everyone agrees that, like, if you were like, what is the closest path to Nuggets and victory right now? And it's closing with Tim Hardaway Jr. The question is just like, Tim is not a consistent player. I think he's been phenomenal. He's not. Like, there will come a point this season when Nuggets fans are frustrated with Tim Hardaway Jr. Of
course.
Like, we've done this I always do that, where it's like, everyone thinks that what happens in November is what's going to keep happening in January and March. And it's like, no, man. It's like, players have this is why I always say veteran players have good months and bad months. That happens. And so I think THJ has been terrific. He's been actually way better defensively than I thought he would be. And he's been so confident. Like, he's just been great. That said, I do think it's worth, like, look, they invested the money in the guys that they invested for a reason.
Well, I think but he played 31 minutes a game in the playoffs last year for the Pistons, and I watched a lot of those Pistons games. They were murdering the Knicks when they would do strong side overload with Tobias Harris and Tim Hardaway Jr. and Cade on the ball in a pick and roll with Jalen Duren. And I mean, I get, like, he's definitely inconsistent, but I mean, man, honestly, he's the reason they should have been up 3-1 in that series. But then obviously he got, beat up in the corner and they don't call the foul. And then next thing you know, they lose the series because it gets tied back 2-2. And I guess for me, I'm just saying that, man, I just think that with Christian, it's the results are great. Christian, you're on a great team.
Yep.
You're on a great team. And you're a really, really good role player. But I think that the biggest thing needs to just be down the line, you do have to become a little bit more of a threat. And maybe not a little bit, a lot of it more of a threat as an outside shooter. But that takes time. He's only in year 4. So, like, maybe this is a year 6 problem that we're talking about. You're muted.
Cash the minus 1,000. To Ryan Blackburn's point, he shot 39.7% last year, 38% the season before. Like, he's not this bad. He's not 16.7.
Yeah.
The record scratches are way worse. That to me is the bigger problem. The thing I love most about the THJ Jokic minutes is Tim doesn't think about it. Tim's just like, no, I'm catching this in rhythm and I'm shooting. Like, I'm just going to shoot.
And I'm talking about if I have somebody right next to me too, I'm shooting the ball.
Yeah.
It's going up.
Yeah. I'm not. It's not, you can't always worry about chasing the perfect shot.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that with Jokic, because he's able to create that so often, they worry about it too much. And I just think that, like, Jokic actually mentioned this the other night and after the Pels game. He mentioned, or the Kings game, I'm sorry. He mentioned, like, he's like, Cam's really worried about messing up right now. Like, he mentioned that. And Cam was kind of honest about it. Like, that's his biggest thing is Tim Hardaway Jr. is like, I'm on a minimum contract.
Is that the biggest flaw of intelligence? Is like you overthink things.
That it is within the theory that I am intelligent. Yes, because God knows I overthink absolutely everything.
And I think but there's a specific type of intelligence that I think you have to always check. Tim Hardaway Jr. is very intelligent, but Tim is like committed to a job.
Yes.
So it's like, this is it. opportunity meets preparation meets opportunity. I'm going to do this. I think Cam is so worried about like right play, best play, right play, best play. They have a system, they have a team. Like even his jumper is like flat, and I think a lot of that is just overthinking. But it's early in the season, man. Like I said, game 21 is when I'll start taking things like really serious about what's actually happening. But right now, process is more important than anything else for me right now.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you guys joining us on today's show. We will see you again tomorrow for Boom and Gloom with Ryan and Swipa. And then after the game, we'll have your reaction. Very late at night, we will do a show in reaction to the Warriors game versus the Nuggets on Friday.
Back to back, by the way.
Thanks for joining us on Locked On Nuggets. Yeah, I'm not going to that Pacers game.